So here I'm here to teach about the Mudgar, the basics and everything. Okay, and you can't learn in 45 minutes, but at least you will know an intro. Okay, so the whole thing about the Mudgar is primarily focused on getting your joints healthy, strong, durable. Okay, and the best part is that you get your core engaged all the time, you get more stability, and of course, if you have a stiff shoulder, a frozen neck, all those things can be sorted out with just swinging. All right. And like I said, I use all the traditional tools. Like I have the Sumtola, but we will not be using that, but I can show you later in class. Then the other one is with the Mudgar, okay, and of course uh, the Gada, okay. So I just like to say something before we start. So Hanuman uses the Gada, yes, it's his weapon, but I wouldn't say weapon. It's his. I would say it's a weapon of his personal choice, or let's say it's his personal weapon, which he swings around to share positivity. Okay, nothing to be negative about it, correct? And we use it to get ourselves stronger and more durable, so we're more independent when we get older. Okay, so that's why you'll really improve your grip strength, your joint strength, and a lot of functional strength. Most of the strength which you don't know today is your grip strength. It's coming out to be very weak, evolving to be very weak because there's a lot of just everything can be done with a click of a button. All right. So one thing before we start is if you ever do want to start the Mudgar, the right weight is mostly one of the most common questions. The right weight which is recommended for you to start with would be your weight divided by 8 and then again divided by 2. So some people must say, so why didn't you say 16? The reason why I say 8 first is because 70, 80 years ago, we had more of a labor intensive lifestyle. So if your weight is 80 kgs, if you do the right math, if you divide it by 8, it would have been 10 kgs. So 10 kgs would be the right weight for you to swing around with. But nowadays, we have evolved to become weaker, sadly. So we have again divided by 2. So then a 80 kg person would swing a 5 kg Mudgar. Okay, from 10 again divided by 2 would be a 5 kg Mudgar. Okay, so so that would be the recommended weight for you. But I personally would always recommend you do starting off with a 2 kg or a 3 kg. Why? Because it's something new. The chances of injuring yourself is much lesser, and you can learn a lot more techniques with a lighter weight. Okay, so that's the only reason why start light and go heavy on the reps, not heavy on the weight, is what I always tell my clients. Okay, so those who don't have a Mudgar can use a 1 liter bottle. Okay, more than enough, fill it up. And if you fill it half, you'll have a swoosh effect, which is really good. It's a very different feel. And if you fill it full, of course, it becomes heavier. Okay. So I think with water, what happens is 1 kg would be almost equal to 1 liter is almost equal to 1 kg. Okay. So this is only with water. Okay. So I here, I'm holding a 5 kg Mumudga. Okay. And I'll be showing you everything, what I can in this time, how to do the basics. So one of the few things you have to keep in mind when swinging the Mumudgar is you can see never when you stand always shoulder width apart. So if you see shoulder width apart means the same distance as your shoulders. Okay. Now, when you swing, another thing is that you have to keep in mind don't lock your knees. If you lock your knees, you're going to reduce your blood flow. So when I say lock your knees, means don't lock your knees. Okay, don't lock it. Be free. Don't lock it. Be free so that your knees act like springs. Okay, so you should be free. And if you can work out barefoot, even better. Your feet has a lot of pressure points, which improves your blood circulation. So try and be as much as you can barefoot if you're on grass, on the beach, or not on the road because I know it's not hygiene. But yes, where else you can, you should. And at home, please try and be as much as barefoot as possible. Okay. Now, with the Mudgar, now if you see those who have a bottle, I'm not sure how it's the thing, but with the bottle, you can always use just single hand. Two hands will not work. But with the single hand, you can work. Those who have a Mudgar can use the double hand. Okay. So today, what we're going to learn is the overhead 360 and the front lower 360. This is the most common variation you must have seen on social media or on TV. Okay. So This kind of workout was really going to stretch your joints and flex your joints. Okay. And if you ask me about which muscle is let's say concentrating on, no, it concentrates on a group of muscles. And now let's say when you start swinging, for some, because of your lifestyle, an example is you might have soreness on your back, some might have soreness on their grip, but I can tell you most people will have soreness on their grip because the grip strength is something which is not being used nowadays in our daily life. Okay. So, and why I recommend doing a lighter weight with the Mudgar is because now this particular one is 5 kg. The difference between a Mudgar and a dumbbell, let's say a 5 kg dumbbell, when you hold on to the grip, the dumbbell has 2.5 kgs on either side to balance the weight. Okay. But in a Mudgar, the 5 kg is all on one side. So you really have to grip it around. Okay. So your grip strength will really improve. You'll improve it even from your finger strength. Okay. So it's really good for racket sport players, uh, climbers, anything, anything with your wrist and everything. It's good. In general, it's really good. Okay. Now, the first exercise which we are going to start off with is the front lower 360. So I'll just give you an example. Keep your right hand on top of your left hand. Those who have a Mudgar can try this. Keep your right hand on top of your left hand. For those who don't have a Mudgar and trying with a bottle, just keep one hand. Okay. So if you're doing it with your right hand, push to your left. Those who are doing with your right hand on top of your left hand, push to your left. So don't get fooled with the camera. It might not be the mirror image. Okay. So this is my left. This is my right. So my right hand is on top of my left hand. And all I'm going to do is we're going to do the front lower 360. This is going to give you a really good stretch. Okay. So when your right hand is on top of your left, this is my left side. I'm going to push towards my left and swing to my right and pull. So this part should be nice and free. Why it should be free? Because we're going to let momentum take over and let the muscle control the direction of the swing. Where you push, let it swing freely and pull towards you. Okay. So always keep the Mudgar when you hold it. Most of you might hold it towards your chest because you're engaging a lot of your bicep and your wrist is not stable. So you tend to, it will be wobbly. But the more you bring it down, you'll see, bring it to your waistline or bring it to a 90-degree angle or greater than 90. So which means 100, 110, 20. The lower you go, the more stable it's going to be. So why? Because your wrist now it's completely locked. The mobility is locked and now your bicep is more relaxed. Okay. So once we hold this position, so feet shoulder width apart, bring the Mudga all the way down to a relaxed position. And now when your right hand is on top of your left, I want you to push towards your left side. So you'll push, swing, and pull. So push, swing, and pull. It's very important to balance the Mudgar after every swing. The Mudgar should control you and sorry, you should control the Mudgar. The Mudgar should not control you. Sorry about that. Okay. So let's start. We're going to do 18 towards your right, 18 towards your left. Okay. So when your right hand is on top, remember, push towards your left side. We're going to do 18. Okay. So 1 and balance, 2 and balance. Feel free to swing, to move your body left and right, but don't bend forward or backward. Always engage your core because that will give you posture, stability. All right. Come on. 3. Come on. 4. 5. Can you see me swing very freely? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yes, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, 17, and 18. Yes. Now, once you do this, it's your first day. For those who are trying it for your first day, you'll see that your grip will start getting sore. Okay, so what you do is don't shake it off. I want you to open, close your fingers, rotate. Rotate, open, close. Rotate, open, close. This will increase the blood flow. Shaking will do no good for you. Okay, keep rotating and open, close. We have these, the wrist, the shoulders, all these were meant to rotate. But nowadays we don't lift more than our shoulder level. And we don't lift weights where we rotate. We always lift weights on an up and down or a 2D motion, which means push and pull. And when you do that, you don't even need grip strength. You can lock with your fingers and pull and push with your palm. But here you need to grip on to the Mudgar. Okay. Now let's do the second one. This time when your left hand is on top of your right hand, you're going to push towards your right side. Swing it down and pull towards you. All right.
Then we have
So
a
we go.
question by one of the participant. I
So
think she want to ask something.
Yeah,
yeah,
hi, Nithin. So
yeah.
can we do this practice on the first day of periods?
Mhm. So on the period, I would say always to take rest on the first day, and then
First.
it's your personal choice how you feel. Okay, um, but I would always recommend take rest on the first day.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, thank
so
you.
most welcome. Now for those with your left hand on top, or left hand on top of your right hand. Okay, now we're going to push towards your right, swing down, and pull towards your left. But then again, Shivani, I just want to tell her that if you're just trying, it's fine. You don't have to work out, but you can always try. It's fine. Okay. So now with your left hand on top of your right hand, you're going to push down towards your right, swing down towards your left, and pull towards you, just like this. Exactly the opposite of what we did with the right hand on top. Okay. We're going to do 18 now. So one and two. Yes. Three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, yes, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So you all must have noticed this swing part should be nice and free. Okay. So the best time to pull towards you is basically when you push towards your right, you're swinging towards your left. Before it wants to swing back, that's the time when you pull towards you. Okay. So swing and pull. Push, swing, and pull. Okay. So this downward, the front lower 360, maybe you all don't know, the down swings always stretch your joints. Now we're going to try out the overhead 360s. The overhead 360s, these are going to do the flex. So here what's going to happen is you're going to go up and really bend your elbows. You see, you've bent your elbows and you're going to, you see my arm, almost behind my neck. And this posture, what happens is you're going to really, your elbows are going to point up. And this, what happens is you're going to really open up your rib cage. Okay. You're going to open up your rib cage. And what's going to happen is if you do have a hunch or a slouch due to sitting in sitting in front of a laptop or a desktop on a desk, you tend to slouch. That's because your core is weak. And this over sitting creates a weak core. Okay. So this is going to push your shoulders back, push your slouch in, and then you're going to have a broad shoulders. Okay. And eventually you're going to improve your posture. And this will help you with your stiff shoulders and neck. Okay. So what we're going to do is you must have seen this. It's called the overhead 360s with double hands. So what you have to remember is this is going to, so same thing. Remember when your right hand is on top of your left and we push down to the left, but this time you're going to push over your left shoulder. So the thing you have to keep in mind when doing this, I've seen a lot of people do it on social media, but I can't correct everyone. Those who are in my class, I can. But what you have to remember is the Mudgar always goes around the body, never over the head. Only your forearm goes over the head. Okay, so if you see, my right forearm goes over the head, then my left, and then I pull down. So you swing and pull, swing and pull, swing and pull. So you have to learn how to swing. Okay. So if you can't swing, the first thing which you could try doing is go over your left shoulder, go around to your right shoulder and pull. Go around the left, around and pull. And once you get comfortable with that, then you just have to push and swing and pull. Okay. Now, when you do this, many people at the first they tend to do this. So you see, the arms are not bent as much. I need you to bring it more down. The more you bring it down, the more your slouch gets pushed in. So you have a your slouch gets it goes almost gone. Okay. So within like a class or two, you'll actually feel the difference of all your knots opening up. Okay, so that's one thing. Now we're going to do this. Now remember, always the forearm goes over the head, never the mudga. Mudga goes only around the body. All right. So with your right hand on top, you're going to swing over to the left shoulder. So this is one, and bring it back to the same position. So this is called the warrior pose, which we did even for the front lower 360. The same thing we're going to do for the overhead 360. Same. Feet shoulder width apart, keep the Mudgar 90-degree angle by your waist level. And this is the always the static position. All right, so we're going to swing and come back to this position. Let's do 18 times. So 1 and 2, 3. Feel free to bend sideways, but not front and back. Now, when it goes back, what happens is you tend to go, your lower back tends to go front. That's because your core is weak. I want you to engage your core and lock it. Remember, feet also not locked, should not be locked, be free. Okay? So, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, yes, 15. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind when the mudga is going behind, that is when your rib cage is nicely stretched out, it's broadened out. Yeah. So that is when you have to breathe in. Always try and breathe in with your nose. And if you can, breathe out with your nose as well. But if you can't, at least in the start, breathe in with nose, breathe out with your mouth. Okay. So if you see, you saw that? I'm just giving you a visual sound effect just for you to understand. But in general, because you can't really hear my breathing, but this is what you have to do. Breathe in when the mudga is behind because you're opened up and stretched your chest. And then when it comes back to the center, exhale. All right. So 16, 17, and 18. Now the same thing with your left hand. Left hand is on top of your right hand, and you're going to swing towards your right shoulder. So let's say a way to figure out which side to swing when whichever hand is on top. Just keep your fingers open, and you'll see it's pointing towards this direction. Listen to the top hand. Okay, the top hand is going to point towards the direction. If you're using single hand, same thing. If my right hand, I'm holding it. If I open up the fingers, it's going to point here. So that means I have to push to this side. Same thing with overhead. Push over and pull. Okay. So now we're going to do with the left hand on top of the right hand. And we're going to swing over to the right shoulder. We're going to do it 18 times. Exactly opposite what you did with the right hand on top. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, yes, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, yes. So the same thing, I'm going to do the same of what all we did right now with the single hand, those who want to try it. So like I said, with your right hand, we're going to do only 9 to the left, 9 to the right. So when you hold it, remember, balance at a 90-degree angle, okay? Don't hold it up, hold it here. And when you swing it and bring it back to balance. Swing and balance. So now this is my right hand. If I hold it from bottom and open up my fingers, it's going to point towards my left. So my right hand will push towards the left and pull from the same side. We're going to do 9. So 1 and 2, 3. For those who are using the bottle, this will be perfect. 4, 5, 6, 7, and balance. 8 and balance. 9 and balance. Yes. Now the same thing with your left hand. My left hand, if I open up my fingers, is going to point towards my right side. So that's the direction I have to push always. So 1 and balance. 2 and balance. 3 and balance. 4 and balance. 5. Yes. 6. If you need the other hand for a support, go for it. 7, 8, and 9. Yes. Now the same thing, we're going to do it with the overhead 360s. Okay, single hand. So with my right hand, like I said, it's going to, if you open up the fingers, you're going to point towards your left. So that means over the left shoulder. So you're going to go over and pull, over and pull. So if you see, this swing should happen. Okay. If this thing doesn't happen, means it's too heavy or you're stiff. So always start with a lighter weight. I always recommend starting with lightweight because it's lesser chances for you to get injured. All right. Come on. So we're going to do 9. So 1 and 2, 3. Can you see how my hand is bending? You see, it's this much and it's not like this. It's like this. If you do swing like this, what's going to happen is over time, you will get a tennis elbow. Okay, so watch out for the tennis elbow because that is the main reason why you got the tennis elbow. So always bend and don't swing it like this. You have to bend. Okay, come on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. The next one is single hand with your left overhead 360. So with your left hand, swing over to your right shoulder. So 1, 2. If you see, my forearm is going over the head. 3, and not the Mudgar. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now if you see, if you swing over like this, if you swing the Mudgar so this, you will not get the maximum stretch. And second thing, it's not safe. The Mudgar might hit your head. Okay, so always swing around the body and let the forearm always go over the head. Okay, so this is regarding the Mudgar. So I'm just showing you the basics of with the Mudgar. Now, what I need to also want to tell you is that the Mudgar is really good to improve your grip strength, your stiff shoulders, stiff neck. One of these, the problems where you have this is because you haven't moved. Movement is essential. So now let's say you go to the gym. Now just the ratio part, okay? How many hours of sitting in front of the desk or sitting at home compared to the number of hours you're working out, okay? So it doesn't do justice when it comes to, so that's one of the reasons why you do it. So keep, this movement is very Vedic. These are called rotator cuffs so that you rotate. We don't rotate it. Either we push or pull or we don't do anything for those who don't work out, okay? So when we do push and pull, you join a gym. I'm not saying gym is bad. It's the best way to increase your strength and your muscle because it concentrates on muscle, okay, but not on mobility. So what I'm trying to say is if you add this, you can do that extra range of motion. It's going to complement your weightlifting or your bodybuilding, okay? CrossFit, because it's purely focused on joint health, okay? So you can do that extra set, that extra weight, that extra rep, only because you can move extra and freely, okay? So this is what I'm trying to say is that this is going to complement your lifestyle, okay? This can be combined with anything, all right? So I just want to show you with the single Mudgar. Now in my classes, we do with a lot of fat loss kind of workouts with the single Mudgar and then with resistant bands for muscle strength, okay? So this what we did was the two basic ones, the foundation of swinging with the Mudgar. Then of course, if you want to keep going further ahead, there's so much more to do. Then you can start off. I would always suggest starting off with the Mudgar, and then you go to the next one with the double Mudgar. I wouldn't suggest going heavy. Go with the double Mudgar because double Mudgar is going to improve your mobility, mind and body coordination. Because when one is swinging, one is balancing. So you see, swing, balance, swing, balance. The same thing with the overhead. Swing, balance, swing, balance, swing, balance. And if you combine the two, it'll become swing, balance, swing, balance, swing, balance. Okay. And then there's so many more variations where you just you can do the 2 count, 3 count, 4 count. Okay. These things will really improve with your mind and body coordination. So you're not just challenging your strength, you're challenging your mind and body coordination. Now, the other doubt which I've seen people have is also, now how do I start with the Sumtola first? I wouldn't recommend doing Sumtola first. At least start with a single Mudgar and then going to a Sumtola. But it'll be easier if you do one Mudgar, then 2, and over time go to a Sumtola. So Sumtola is purely for wrestlers, for martial arts and everything. It really gets you functionally strong. It's like as if you're grappling, you're holding on to someone and throwing them, and you're grappling them like just like wrestling. The movements are very, what do you call? It's very humbling, okay, because it's not about the weight. So this particular equipment is like around 8 to 9 kgs. If you see, the movements are very, again, you're going to rotate. It's always rotating, and you can do your legs, swing, you can go on your legs. Okay, so there's so many more things, and at the same time, I would call it the Indian barbell because you can do all your barbell workouts. Okay, your barbell workouts, your back, your tricep. You can do all these with, as long as whatever you're doing with the barbell, you can do it with the Sumtola. Okay. Now, the other one and the last, which is the most powerful one, would be Hanuman's choice of weapon, which you all see in his pictures, posters, always Hanuman with a Gada. So the Gada is harder only because now if you see the length distance between your grip and the weight is further away. So it gets harder to swing, or you need more strength when the grip is further away from the weight. Here in the Mudgar, here is my grip and the weight distance is right here. So there is a swing effect, there is a leverage because weight is only on one side of the grip. But here what's happening is, this is a 9 kg Gada. And if you see, here's my grip and here's the weight. So what happens? It gets harder, so more core engagement. So you can do exactly what you're doing with the Mudgar with the Gada. The only thing you can't do is the downswings. Now, I wouldn't really recommend doing downswing with this because you tend to swing like this. And what I generally tell people is when you swing down, you're supposed to stretch your joints. So you can't stretch, you're always flexing. So you have to stretch. Okay. So that's why I don't recommend the downswings. But you can do it once in a while just to test your strength. So with the Gada, it's the same movements. If you see, the same movements. Okay. I'm swinging. I'm just swinging and pulling. Swing and bringing back to the waist level. Same thing with the single hand. Swing, balance. Swing, balance. Same thing with the other arm. Swing and balance. You see, the more you bring it down, the easier to balance. You hold it up, it's going to fall. So always bring it down. Same thing with the Mumudga. Same concept, but this is more powerful. It will really improve your strength. I would always suggest, like I said, recommend start with a single, then a double Mudgar, then a Sumtola, and eventually move on to a Gada. Once you start the Gada, the rest will be very easy. Okay. But learn the basics with the Mudgar because I'll teach you how to swing. Because we are here to learn how to open up those knots, those stiff neck, and joints, not to keep your ego aside because sometimes the heavyweight can get you injured, and then the whole purpose of you getting healthy is gone. Okay. So this is the Gada. Like I said, swing, balance, swing, balance. So you get this is the proper balance. And yes, so that's a few things about the Indian equipments. So those who really want to like learn and want to know more about this, do message Haluma Yoga. You'll get more details over it. And what is that? Those who have any stiff shoulder issues, trust me, you don't need this. Will rehabilitate your joints. You will get stronger in the process of rehabilitating your joints. Okay, and of course, it's a very good fat loss workout because your heart rate doesn't really pump up. Maybe in the start it will because it's a new movement for your body. What's going to happen is you're really going to see yourself starting to shrink. So you can feel your knots opening up within the second or third day of classes, but or practice. And the thing is that when it comes to fat loss, you'll see the change in fat loss for yourself in 21 days. Others can't really see it, but within the 60 and 90 days, people are going to start seeing you shrink. When I say shrink means you're going to start losing inches. At the same time, start seeing your muscles pop out. Like it'll be very visible. You'll be chiseled. You'll get a lot of functional strength. You can move faster, mental, mind and body coordination. Or if you have any brain fog, distractions and things like that, it's not because you procrastinate, because of being lazy. Okay, this is really going to improve your energy, your mood levels is really going to shoot up. Okay, and the best part is when you work out in the morning, you're going to keep burning calories throughout the day. Okay, so that's a really good thing. Now, a few things I want to say about this. And yes, small changes, like I said, don't lock your knees, start with a lightweight. And yes, you'll get more and more details about this with Haloma Yoga